the dollar and work our way through these markets. So USD's been quite bearish. We did gap down a bit, as well as the new daily candle did open. But the key takeaway for the dollar is that we're still respecting this area here, which does keep the market bearish. I did say I'm looking for some longs for USD, but the important thing is price does need to take out the high here. If price can take out the high at 99.5, then I would be looking at some buying opportunities on some pullbacks and potentially looking to target some areas around there. So that was where the bullish bias or bullish setup could potentially arise. But at the moment, of course, we're still respecting supply and we're looking pretty bearish. And of course, if price maintains these lower highs, then there is a pretty good chance the market does push back to lows. After all, we still do have a bearish market on higher time frames as well. So we could still very much see a push back into the low. Again, I'm not necessarily looking to sell the dollar. It's a little bit overextended, quite corrective in this move as well. So particularly as a swing trader where I want to position myself, I do want the dollar to have a much bigger pullback before I do anticipate any shorting opportunities. So as a result, I'm not really interested in shorting the pair. I'm more interested to see if I can take the opposite side and go bullish with USD. But because we haven't taken out these highs, I'm going to hold back on that bullish bias for now. And if we maintain supply here resistance, we very much could fall back to lows and see some new ones. So the biggest takeaway, supply is holding, resistance is holding, bear still stepping into the market. That swing trade I was looking for, not quite here yet. It might come around next week, but of course, today's already Friday and it doesn't look like price is about to take up the high. So keep a close eye on that. But at the moment, bears still look in control of the market. Take a look at EURUSD. So Euro, again, respected support. Very nice reaction. This happened shortly after we ended the stream yesterday, actually. I talked about I wasn't really liking how price was reacting. So I did mention perhaps we might see a retest of this area and a double bottom come around. And we did see that. Actually, this was around 7 p.m. actually. So towards the end of yesterday, but a very nice double bottom there, strong reaction. This is kind of what I'm looking for in terms of an entry signal. Price will give you a lot of bullish candles, a lot of bullish engulfing candles, a lot of bearish engulfing candles, but it doesn't mean you should take each and every one of them. There will be better versions of the bullish engulfing, better versions of the bearish engulfing, and this would be one of them. But as you can see, it engulfs 1, 2, 3, 4 candles all in one go off key support. That is a very nice shift of momentum. And yeah, since then price has been looking pretty bullish and we basically just respected this area. So this could be another correction for Euro. If we do kind of break the channel to the upside here, then I would expect naturally a swing back to the high end. And then of course, probably some higher highs at that point. Of course, Euro overall still a very bullish market. We are still very consistent with these high lows. I was looking for us to go and take out this low. And that again will allow me to look for selling opportunities for Euro. So same with the DXY, if you took at the high, buying for the DXY, so selling for Euro. Not really interested with buying Euro USD, like I said, we're a little bit high up. Prices, of course, still kind of struggling at highs as well. So I think intraday looks good for the buys, which we mentioned yesterday. But for a bigger swing trade, I'm still kind of waiting for shorts. If I am going to look to long Euro, it has to be a very strong move to the upside. I need to see momentum step back into the market. Doesn't have to be as bullish as we were back over here, but I do need to see a much more stronger move than what we had here, especially with how corrective we looked, especially that we just kind of failed at the highs a little bit as well. Not a good sign for the buyers. So if we see some momentum come in from somewhere, strong break to the highs, that would be great. Then yeah, I will look for the pullbacks afterwards because that momentum would tell me, okay, the trend is healthy again and we're likely to continue. But I'm still waiting for the shorts. At the moment, not looking likely, but we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, if we do get the break of the channel there, I would expect price to get back to high. So perhaps some breakout opportunities on the lower time frames could look good. Pound USD did respect some key support. I must admit price did respect that level. I was looking for it to break yesterday, but yeah, pound actually reacted quite bullish to the news. Well, initially reacted quite bearish to the interest rates, but that kind of flipped within about an hour, and pound was a little bit strong. And of course, USD being a little bit weak kind of helped that out. But you can see a very, very significant level here on the daily chart. Respected it once over there, massive move to the downside. Respected it briefly there as well. Nice push down. As you can see, we're still just about holding a support. So this was the key level, which I said if price does break through, I would be bearish on pound and looking for perhaps a retest of the level to short it and hopefully catch next lower high. Somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern. Left, head, right shoulder. So there was, and still is, some nice downside potential for pound, but we are not breaking that level. We respected it very well. Momentum shifted, and we're looking quite bullish. Now, the way I'm taking pound USD really is that we're still very much in this consolidation. Price has respected the high a couple times, respected the low a couple times, and it looks to me that price is just respecting the low end of this range. So naturally, we might see a push back to the high end. I'm not going to be looking to buy pound USD until I see some healthy momentum come back into the market. A strong break of the highs, similar situation to Euro, because they've both been quite corrected recently. But if I do see a strong break, that kind of shows me, okay, the buyers are back in control. The trend is relatively healthy again. We probably can see some continuation, and that would invite me into some buying opportunities. But at the moment, still within the range. I think if you haven't found entries down here, I wouldn't really be looking to jump in unless you're very, very intraday. Maybe price does come back down to retest the lows again. Maybe forms a bit of a double bottom. I would keep an eye on that. But if we do kind of just slowly push to the upside, I would say the train's left the station. Wait to see what we do at the highs. Maybe we come back down. Maybe we get a breakout. But for now, it's been a strong rejection of the lows. And price might be making a move back to the higher end of the range. Dollar CAD, a bit more upside for this one. Starting to struggle a little bit at the highs here. Again, overall, dollar CAD is still very much a bearish market. But I've been looking for a bounce as we've come into this area. And we have seen a bounce. Just didn't really get that double bottom opportunity, which I've been looking for, or the higher low just yet. We had that initial reaction on Tuesday. And we've been looking bullish since then. Now, if the market doesn't pull back to give me the equal low or the higher low, then if it does kind of just slowly push to the upside, then I will become a bit more bearish on dollar CAD and probably start looking for selling opportunities. Because as we approach these type of areas, this is now coming back into bearish territory. And as a swing trader, I potentially could catch a lower high on a move back down. This is the area I've been bullish from, looking for buying opportunities. Unfortunately, haven't found an entry. But if we just keep pushing to the upside, I'm not going to continue to look for buys because now we're in an area where sales make sense and where potential low high could form and a push down. So if we do continue to push, I think at least to 1.38, that's where I'll start to consider some shorts. 1.38, 1.39, 1.395. These are the areas which I will look to short. If we do come back down again, I will look to buy the market. As of right now, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, so not really looking to do anything with dollar CAD. But if we can push back down to 1.355, longs look good. Push back to 1.38, 1.39, shorts look good. So just trying to position myself well in the market. Doesn't really matter the bias because there's always going to be selling opportunities. There's always going to be buying opportunities. It's just about where do you position yourself? Is it appropriate? But yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting for dollar CAD. Aussie dollar, same old really. Just a lot more corrective behavior. We did have a bit of bearishness yesterday, but didn't really amount to much. You can see we did push down, but kind of just respected the low of the trend line. So yeah, not a lot to report on. I did say I'm still looking for the retest of the upper end of the channel. If price was to get there again, respect it well, I would be looking for a sell. Because again, when you have a corrective move like this, I'm always expecting price to break lower. It's not guaranteed, but more often than not, when you have a corrective behavior like this, especially kind of after a big move in the market, normally we do tend to break lower, and we do tend to break with quite a lot of momentum as well. So shorts is my expectation. I'm expecting the market to sell off. Now the tricky thing is, when does that happen? We could do it now. We might push back into resistance and do it from there. We might push into the top of the channel and then do it from there. Or of course, we might not do it at all. Maybe price is going to break higher. That's of course a possibility. But the higher probable outcome would be a break lower, and the best place to position myself would be at the top end of the channel. relatively safe stop loss away from all the noise, maximize my risk to reward. So yeah, naturally that would be the best place to short. So that's really what I'm waiting for Aussie dollar to get to, and staying patient. But very, very noisy market. I kind of want to be away from all the noise. There'll be a lot of stop losses just resting above here. Yeah, I do want my stop loss there. If it can be even higher, that would be great. New Zealand dollar, we did see a bit of a breakout for this one, but it hasn't really got going yet. It might just be prices having a bit of a pullback before it does continue. So you can see the breakout we had yesterday, but momentum kind of dried up a little bit, which isn't great, because typically after such a corrective move like this, similar to Aussie dollar, I'm not expecting prices to slightly break out the channel. I'm expecting pretty heavy momentum to the downside. I'm looking for us to come back and retest these lows. So the fact that we did see a nice initial breakout, but momentum dried out, and now we're starting to push up. What I want to see is price pretty much respect this area and be on its way. If we start breaking above and start breaking back inside the channel, we're back at square one really, and I wouldn't touch XAUUSD. I think there could be some nice shorts here, or even potentially the retest of that range there, because that's initially where the kind of momentum came from, so that's a nice area of supply. But I do want to see us break back above the range or clear this area. So if we can find some resistance here, I think that could end up being a very nice place for a short. Hourly chart, we still look quite corrective, which again is a good sign. Shows that this is likely a pullback. So perhaps a strong close outside of that would be a nice entry, take you back into the lows, and then if everything goes very well, maybe these lows down there as well. But yeah, XAUUSD, strong break of the channel. I would be pretty bearish with this one. It depends what USD does as well, but at least from a technical point of view, XAUUSD is pointing downwards in my opinion. Gold been a bit interesting. Gold and silver have been a bit interesting. Gold still falling to the downside. Again, I'm still bullish for gold. It hasn't done anything that would tell me not to be bullish. You've still got market structure here with these higher highs and higher lows. You've still got the overall uptrend. If you look at the bigger picture, so if I expand to the daily chart, what is the market doing? It's been on a very, very dramatic uptrend. So there's no sign of reversal just yet. So naturally, I'm still very much a buyer of the market. And I would be expecting us to push back to the all-time high, which is at 3,500. So very, very bullish for gold. We've pulled back into an interesting area, which lines up with this trend line very well. We've got this kind of brief range here, kind of area of demand, which we're more or less tapping into as well. So in terms of confluence, I would say we're in a smart place for a buy. Now it's just up to gold to show us momentum, because I was speaking about this range here. We had that wick to the downside. I was like, okay, it looks like gold's rejecting the lows. Potentially that could be the higher low. Now I just need to see momentum come into the market, and that would be my entry. Didn't see that happen. We kind of just sluggishly rolled over. Now I'm kind of viewing this as a descending channel here, really. So if I could see price break above that channel, I think that would be a great entry signal, especially for a strong close in the 4-hour chart. Something like this, strong close. That would be a great entry. Stops below the low. Initial targets back to the high, but of course, expectations would be a push back to the all-time high, and actually expectations would be new highs beyond that. So gold to me still looks like a good buy. We just had a very prolonged pullback. Again, it hasn't taken out any key structure. If gold was suddenly to sell off and take out these lows, then yeah, I would be a bit hesitant to buy gold at that point. I wouldn't necessarily be bearish, but I wouldn't probably be looking to actively buy it until I get some more development. But as of right now, the higher highs and higher lows still intact. Pull back into a nice area, keeping a close eye at this 33.50 area for a buy. Just need to see momentum really come in. And lastly, you've got silver, which had a really big push down. I wasn't expecting that. My focus for silver was this range here. I was looking for buying opportunities in this area. Price was moving sideways. We were seeing a little bit of wicks to the downside, nothing too excessive, but we were seeing some wicks, so I was starting to get excited a little bit. But again, the key thing for my entries is always momentum. I like to enter when momentum shifts, because it kind of shows that, okay, the level, whichever area I was buying or selling from, price is starting to gather momentum, speed in that direction. And yeah, didn't see that happen. And of course, we had this big bearish candle overnight. So again, nothing crazy for silver. We still do have a very big level below us here. So if we do fall even further, not to panic. This level here, just below 35, is still a very, very key level for me. If price was to get there, I would still be very bullish, still looking to buy the market. But yeah, the way price has moved, I don't know if I'll be actively looking to buy it just yet. I understand that we've come back into support here. We could respect this and push up, but it's not really ticking my boxes yet. So I would like to see silver kind of push a little bit further down. This would be my preferred setup, and I think that would be a great place to position long, swing back into the high. I still do expect us to eventually get to 40 as well. So I've got some big targets for silver, but yeah, with the way we sold off there, I would like to see a bit more downside before buying it.